What's going on, everybody? My name is Jeremy Timmerman, one of the admins of the Top Rope Facebook group, and this is the Go Home Show, normally named such because I'm going home. Today I am not going home. I'm out riding around for work. I just want to go and get this knocked out because I'm excited. This week was the actual Go Home shows for Survivor Series, which is Sunday. And especially SmackDown did a fantastic job of on their final show before Survivor Series. I can't imagine that they could have done it better. From start to finish, every match, every segment, everything, I thought did a really good job of building toward the pay-per-view, which is something that we've discussed WWE hasn't done a great job of in the last couple years. But man, from start to finish, the first thing I want to say, I'm going out of order a little bit, but Charlotte and Natalya, I don't think I'm just like being a prisoner of the moment when I say that was one of my match of the year candidates right there. It's going to help it that it's so late in the year, but when I put together, we do awards here and there in the group, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to help it. Recency bias is definitely going to help it a little bit because I'll make sure to remember it. But, man, what a great match. Of course, those two are technically sound. There was a good brutality to it, which sometimes when you get some of those technicians together, some of those people that know submissions and know some of the technical aspects of the match, you don't get enough heat. And I know heat means something different in wrestling, but that's just the only thing I can term it. Those two, from start to finish, it felt like a real title match. Even though there wasn't a whole ton of build to it because it's Survivor Series season and you were building to the 5-on-5 matches. Those two, they just put on a show. It was a great match. There was psychology. I mean, all the way down to the perfect example of what I'm talking about with the psychology was all the way down to the finish with Charlotte tossing Natty out of the ring because Charlotte's gassed. She's just been in a sharpshooter. Looked like she might be going to tap. She kind of tosses Natty out of the ring. And then, of course, Natty pops right back in and boom, runs right into a boot. Into the figure 8, which Charlotte got, but didn't get all the way. And sometimes in wrestling, especially in modern wrestling, because the injury is kayfabe, you get some moments where it's either yes or it's no. Either she can get the figure 8 locked in, so she's fine, or she can't get it locked in, so she's hurt, she's going to lose the match. In this case, she had trouble. She didn't get her back fully arched. She really did a good job of, even in the win, even in getting that hold locked in for the victory, she did a good job of showing that she wasn't 100%. Natty whooped her. And I thought they did a good job of after the match, having Charlotte talking, because we've got that briefcase hanging out there. And I don't know if everybody else was like this, but I was sitting there going, they won't have Carmella cash in on Charlotte, in Charlotte, for the chance and take away her chance to be in that match at Survivor Series. They won't do that. They won't. They won't. I mean, I sat there and just watched that segment, waiting to see if Carmella was going to come out. And the icing on the cake was having Ric Flair, who, as we all know, has been going through some health stuff. To have him come out there in Charlotte and congratulate his daughter on the stage. But even still, I was like, they wouldn't have Carmella out and come out now, would they? They wouldn't do that, would they? And I just thought that whole match, that whole story was just so great. I really enjoyed that match, in case you couldn't tell. Some of the other stuff they did really well. I thought they did a good job of, I was kind of curious about this feud with Sin Cara, like, why is Baron Corbin? And I was hoping that they wouldn't, because Baron Corbin and The Miz have invested so much into their promos back and forth. I was hoping they wouldn't take that away for Sin Cara. I don't think anybody particularly enjoys Sin Cara's ring work. And obviously his mic works tough because he can't move his mouth. And so his promos, when he does talk, sounds like this. So I don't think anybody was really that fired up about having the possibility of having Sin Cara do it, but I'll give him credit. He was a worthy opponent for Baron Corbin. He put up enough of a fight that Baron Corbin looked really good. I thought that was one of the best matches. Baron Corbin apparently does good work in weird spots against the Lucha Dragons, because one of his other surprisingly good matches was that chairs match against Kalisto last year in December, I think it was. It was at TLC, which I think was in December last year. And then now he randomly puts on a great U.S. title match, or a really solid U.S. title match against Sin Cara on SmackDown. I just really thought Baron Corbin did his stuff, did his style really well. He and Sin Cara had a surprisingly good chemistry, I thought. And again, they did some good storytelling with the different ways that Sin Cara tried the back springboards into Corbin, and the different ways that Corbin caught him sometimes or didn't catch him. Or I thought they did a really good job. But I was glad that they kept that belt on Baron Corbin. Some continued fairly good storytelling, I thought, in the tag team division. That the Alpha 2 has taken the knees out from under the Usos. I think that does a good thing, because I think it does better for the Bar to beat the Usos on Sunday, but I don't think it would have been fair to just have the Bar beat the Usos straight up. So I think they did a good job of it. Serves a lot of purposes to have Alpha 2 kind of beating up on the Usos. It makes it where the Bar can just win on Sunday and they can look good, but the Usos are hurt. So I think that was good. I thought Shane's opening rallying cry to SmackDown was a little corny. Mainly because they kept showing the crowd shots, and they had some heels out there like Baron Corbin, who's just like, yeah, woo! And Sin Cara, inexplicably, when Baron was talking about going to Survivor Series and beating down The Miz, Sin Cara's like, yeah! And I'm like, he just basically said he was going to beat you. You probably shouldn't cheer that. What else? But I thought Daniel Bryan's segment with AJ Styles was really good. I mean, really good. Daniel Bryan is he's growing on me on the mic. There for a long time I thought he was super cheesy, and he's still super cheesy, but I thought he did a good job with that segment, so I can't complain too much. What else was there? Oh, well, of course, down to the end, that was the best Brawl segment I've seen in a while, where Raw came in and invaded SmackDown. We all knew it was coming, and that's the sign of something that's really well done. It's easy to get something right that people don't expect, to me. And if it's something that they're gonna like, but they don't expect it, like, for instance, Shane McMahon coming back last year, when nobody knew he was coming, they did a really good job of hiding him. They didn't have to nail that first night. They didn't have to nail that. Shane McMahon showing up unexpected, that music hitting, was gonna blow people's minds, was gonna be exciting. Same thing when the Dudleys came back a couple years ago, out of nowhere. We weren't expecting it. Boom, Dudleys, pyro. But when everybody kind of knows this is the last Raw before WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, Survivor Series, the last SmackDown before Survivor Series, Raw hasn't responded. You know at least the Shield is coming. You just know that at least the Shield is coming. And I thought that was an incredible segment. It made sense that, like, the Shield and the Bar would be working together right there. Because SmackDown's pissed them off. Now, the one thing I didn't get is, like, why is the Bar the first ones to come help the Shield? I guess I get it because it was the Usos that evened the score, or that gave the advantage, so it would make sense that the Bar would be the ones. But, like, from a logic standpoint, the Bar wouldn't have known, like, within the story, the Bar wouldn't have known that the Usos were going to be the first ones out the gate. So why would they even be there and be ready to be the first ones to run out? I don't know if there's a solution. Maybe, I don't know. I guess the problem with the Raw Survivor Series team, which I'll get into in a second. Well, this will be a perfect segue. The Raw Survivor Series team kind of hamstrings you a little bit there. Because you think about it, it's Finn. Finn would have made the most sense to be the first one out the gate to help the Shield. And maybe Joe comes with him. Of course, you want to save Braun and Kurt. But Triple H isn't going to come help the Shield. And I thought that was interesting that Triple H forced himself onto Team Raw, but he wasn't there last night. That would have been the perfect chance for him to kind of mesh with the team, I guess. But maybe they'll have a point for that. Maybe that'll be a, hey, we went to get our revenge and your husband wasn't there. He wasn't a part of Team Raw. He was here for himself. I don't know. But I really just thought that attack sequence was just really, really good. It felt real. It felt like Raw was, whereas the SmackDown invasion, while it was a surprise, it felt very, it felt scripted. And obviously, we know it was, but it felt very scripted to me. Hey, let's go. Go get them, guys. Go find them in their locker rooms. Go. Raw's invasion felt real. It felt like these people were really angry that they had been attacked and they were going to get the last laugh before Survivor Series. And they made sure of that. They came in. I thought the beatdown on Shane, the second triple powerbomb felt like, I watched it late, so I wasn't looking at the live clock at the time. I'm guessing that everything else went quicker than they thought it would and they had to do one more thing. Because I thought the perfect place to end it would have been on Kurt's angle slam and just be done. But, that's nitpicking. Overall, it was a really good scene. I do have a problem with Triple H being the fifth member of Team Raw, but I want to be clear, it's not just that it's Triple H. It's the icing on the cake of that show. There's so much talent. We've talked about how deep these rosters are. And yet, of these two major matches, the main champion versus main champion match, and the 5-on-5 men's, the co-main events, I guess you would say. I don't know which one's going to go on last. Really, either one could go on last at this point, and it would be fine. I feel really comfortable calling those the co-main events. You've got the match that the show's named after, that's loaded with talent. But then you've got Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, which, whether you like Brock Lesnar or not, and I don't, that's a match that, okay, all right, let's see where this goes. But there's 12 men in those two matches, and 5 of them will not be wrestling on their show. At least 5 of them will not be wrestling on their show on Monday or Tuesday, or did not wrestle on their show this week. These are people that are just part-timers, or really not even part-timers at this point. I don't even know that you can consider, well, sorry about that, my hand was in the way of the camera for a really long time. I don't even know that you can consider, what is going on? Hold on. Somehow I got all out of whack. Hopefully that'll stay this way for a while. I don't even know that you can consider Triple H a part-timer at this point. Man, this is really shaky. I apologize. Let me see if I can fix that. Anyway, are they all that shaky? Am I always shaking like I'm in an earthquake on these videos? Man. But anyway, I don't even know that you can consider Triple H a part-timer anymore. And so you've got, on one side, you've got John Cena, who was on Raw the last time we saw him. And, you got John Cena and Shane McMahon on one side, and you've got Kurt Angle and Triple H on the other. Kurt Angle is at least, wrestling with some regularity. I guess Triple H is too at house shows, but Triple H hasn't been a part of the show. And kudos to the writing team for working that stuff in. on Monday, and that Stephanie was like, or I guess it was last Monday, or was it this Monday? It would have had to been this Monday, when Stephanie was like, John Cena hasn't, he was on this show. How did he end up on the SmackDown roster? And while that's great for Stephanie's character to point out, that's a really valid question that should have been written. The answer to that question should have been a part of the story. How did it? Because when there was some sort of trade that sent John Cena to Raw, I don't remember what it was. Might have been Jason Jordan. I think it was Jason Jordan, which makes this all even funnier. That, no, because Jason Jordan came to Raw too. So I don't really remember what it was that got them John Cena, but either way, he was a free agent. I don't know. Somehow John Cena ended up on Raw. I don't remember what the ridiculous story for that was. But how did he get back on SmackDown's Survivor Series roster? Like, even if there was no transaction, even if it was as simple as he's a free agent and Shane McMahon offered him, I mean, God, say you offered him a title shot, because John Cena's gonna get a title shot at some point. Something. You offered him something to be on your Survivor Series team. But then, kudos to the writing team, or Roman, or whoever came up with it. Roman Reigns was like, let's ask a better question. Where have you been? And where has your husband been? Like, they haven't been here. So, or maybe that was later. Maybe he just asked, where the hell have you been? I'm getting my timeline all out of whack. Yeah, so he wouldn't have known about Triple H because Triple H didn't come out till later, I guess. So I guess he just asked where Stephanie had been. But it's a valid point. She was gone for like 6 months after her husband put her through a table. So anyway, kudos to the writing team for putting that together, but there was some like frustrating logic there. And I just wish some of this other talent could get a shot. I mean, obviously, Bray Wyatt was a part of the story. Like, they knew Bray Wyatt would be coming back, because that's who they used to get Jason Jordan off the team. So at some point, after they decided that they were going to replace Jason Jordan with Triple H, but in time for the show, they knew that Bray Wyatt was ready. Why wouldn't Bray Wyatt be the one? Why wouldn't they say, the way I would have written that, and this is way too deep in the video for this, but the way I would have written that is I would have had Stephanie McMahon out there, and I would have said, look, Jason has to earn his spot because I don't think he's good enough for this spot. And I would have had Bray Wyatt come out there, and I would have had Bray Wyatt beat Jason Jordan. But I would have had him injure the knee before the match, come out there and just brutalize him before the match, and I would have had Stephanie tell Kurt, you can't interfere in any of this, or you lose your GM spot. Get you to the same point you're trying to get to. Or Jason Jordan is mad at his dad. And I would have had Bray Wyatt come out, that's his return. He beats the tar out of Jason Jordan, hurts his knee before the match, wins the match. Bray Wyatt gets the 5th spot. That's what I would have done. You don't need Triple H in that match. Bray Wyatt needs to be in that match. Because now he has nothing to do for Survivor Series. Neither does Sami Zayn, neither does Kevin Owens, neither does Rusev. And you've got all these guys who don't need this match, while any of those guys would use that match. Luke Harper. I mean, there's so many guys that ought to be in these matches or have something to do that don't. And that's what bothers me. But other than that, the show has been really well built, and I'm really looking to Survivor Series. So all that said, it's been a really long video, but hope everybody enjoys Sunday and have a good week.